Welcome back, everybody, to Maniacal Music and Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, as always, part of this new generation of smooth criminals taking over the podcast world. When I inflict my dominion over Lucretia, my reflection, it causes massive floods that make the Beddington bad. That's all I gotta say about me tonight. Really, it's fucking St. Patrick's Day. I'm not getting too deep into it. My co-host, though, he is an outrageous elevator man who is driven like the snow. He's not my slave, at least on the books. We're just good friends. This corrosion of his heart, though, was caused by Dirty Diana, and the pain she inflicted on him makes him look at the man in the mirror on a daily basis. He says, "Where do all my friends go? I'm going to change my ways." Yeah, right, not today. CJ motherfucking playing the music god himself.
I'm here, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, it's St. Patty's Day. I think we're all kind of here. But welcome back, folks, to another exciting episode. Yeah, you folks don't know it, but it's been a few weeks since we recorded, so we're happy to be back talking music once again. And, of course, we have another great artist with us to talk about music. And our artist this week is, if I mispronounce this at all, I apologize in advance, but my artist this week is Sir Sakant, a
Yeah.
I got it right.
Hey,
Yay! and
hey, everyone. Yeah.
he, I would call him a hip hop mix artist, if best or pop mix artist, I guess, best description I could come up with. But he hits all genres, or at least he will eventually. I'm pretty sure, from what I heard already. But welcome, Seer. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, good. How are you? Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Nice meeting you all. This.
Yes, doing good. We get to talk about three good albums, so I'm in a good mood. And yeah, what can I say? It's that my belly's full of corned beef and cabbage, so I'm freaking happy. I could, but well, tell us what made you want to go into music, man? Like, what made you want to make the mixes you do?
Yeah, music is passion subject to me. That's not my full time job, but it's 100% passionate. I'm passionate about music and making a lot of genres, experimenting music, experimenting with a lot of genres. Happening to meet a lot of musical artists and podcasters, basically. So yeah, I wanted to share a few of my thoughts on the 1987 sort of music, like synth driven mostly, and the rock, where the rock and pop has taken its shape completely. The era that we call it as a golden era of pop, right? So if I'm not wrong, like a lot of pop stars, a lot of rock stars. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say after listening to to some of yours I listened to all your music today actually because it's not a huge list on Spotify just yet, so I was able to get through all of it. And I was like, I could see why he picked 87 with the music
Yeah.
he's doing. I'm like, and I was really happy about what I picked when I heard your music. And I'm like, oh,
I got heavily driven or heavily inspired by 87's 80s music, basically the synthesizers and the pop, the reggaetons, and all actually. So yeah.
I, I mean, I'm a huge fan of 80s music, especially the new wave music in the 80s, as everybody will find out soon enough with our new specials coming out in the next 10 weeks or so. But and I'm pretty sure my co-host is too. CJ, did you get a chance to check out Sierra's music or no?
No, I didn't get a chance to listen to it. I mean, I looked at it, but I didn't listen to it per se. It's been one of them weeks where, you know, mom's starting to slide back downhill again. So,
Ah,
I've been spending
well,
as much time as possible out there.
that and CJ also is in the process of putting out his first album, so it's a whole. I'm sure you're aware that's a whole world of its
Very,
own.
very synth heavy, as he said. It's a synth wave record, so it's sort of in this vein of what all this is.
Exactly. So it's I had a feeling he's been busy this week, but
Yeah, it's
let
been a stupid week.
the only thing I gotta say about your music, and I said to myself, I gotta tell him this. I want I want to hear you get into some. I want to hear you mix up some more darker songs from the '80s, like some more like some Sweet Dreams or Tainted Love type of songs. Like I want to hear those get like kind of mixed into your music a little bit. Like I want to hear like the more like less poppier, more like darker synth stuff. Like I would love to hear that in your music.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you get the chance to look at my Spotify, there's a song called "Dancing in the Dark."
I like that song. I heard that song and I was like, oh, like I
You found the vibe, right? It's a completely 80s kind of synthwave music. Actually, I made it with so some draw an interesting conclusion on that basically. So it sounds a bit like Dua Lipa physical something. Dua Lipa's physical song, but I completely means I counter argued with them basically. I don't know who is Dua Lipa at that time when somebody put a question to me. So it's all like the formats and all. Actually, maybe myself or Dua Lipa have been using the same things, I guess. So
yeah, I
but
mean I
the main crux of the story here is like Dancing in the Dark is a completely 80s driven a synthwave kind of track which I made. And because I was heavily inspired by 80s kind of music.
yeah, it's funny because I listening to your music, I'm like, this isn't the type of music I would listen to like driving down the road. I'm like, but if I was in a bar or a club somewhere, I would 100% be down to like dance to this music. Like this music is 100% danceable. Like it's it's not car music, it's dance music 100%. And
Yeah.
I
There's another track recently which I released is So Let's Dance. Yeah,
yeah
that feels the vibe actually. So you can feel the 80s, sorry, the reggaeton styles of music mixed with a little bit of Asian music in a in a reggaeton structure actually, which I made it as. That's also an interesting song. You can, the Dancing in the Dark is more overly like you when you drive it don't disrupt you definitely I'm sure but
yep.
it gives a good feeling but when you go to the pubs and all actually so Let's Dance is a good song you can listen it and you can listen to that.
Yeah, and when I read and when I heard that you put like the Indian instrumentals into it a little bit, I
Yeah.
love that because some of my favorite versions of Led Zeppelin songs are the ones done by the what the hell's the name of that group? There's a symphonic orchestra out of India that did like over a bunch of Led Zeppelin songs, and it's freaking amazing.
Okay.
I I think Friends I think is the song I really like that they did over by them, but what the hell's it called? God damn it! That's gonna drive me
all
nuts.
the all the Pink Floyd stuff and the Beatles stuff that had that influence. It was all Robbie Shankar that
Yeah, Ravi Shankar, yeah, Pandit Ravi Shankar here. So he's a
you know
sitarist, sitar player. He's not,
yeah
yeah, yeah. So he is one of the legend in the Indian music culture. And I think his daughter Anushka Sharma, she's also
yeah
Anushka Ravi Shankar. She's also a good sitarist, and she's also a good
yeah.
musician. Yeah. So Pandit Ravi Shankar's music is
Yeah,
most
I
the
mean,
classical. Yeah, the classical part of
yeah, I mean,
Hindustani structure, basically. Good, good, sir.
oh, it's the Bombay Orchestra. That's who it is. It's the Bombay Orchestra that did the Led Zeppelin song they did. I love is yeah, Friends. They did Friends, and it's amazing how it sounds when they did the orchestra did their version of it. But yeah, you're not wrong, CJ. When the Beatles came back from India, that's some of my favorite music they did was when they came back from India. So
I mean, I don't think a lot of people know because when you when people talk about India and music, I think a lot of minds just go to Bollywood,
yeah,
Yeah.
which is predominant, but there are also some really, really amazing rock, metal, and other bands in India that are phenomenal. Two of them that were on my best of list for last year, Fire in the Rodeo and Blackjack,
Mhm.
are both really incredible, like hard rock bands, like Motley Crue style rock bands. And then on the heavier side, um, you have Bloodywood. They do more of the alternative metal. And then probably the best of all of them, you have Jerish and the Chronicles. And
Mhm.
um, I saw the name and I never really listened to them, but then I saw a video of him singing and was like, holy shit, like Jerish can fucking
Mhm.
sing, dude.
Mhm.
Like wow. Like he's got that same kind of voice of like Jeff Scott Soto and Dino Jalusic and like David Coverdale had. So there's a lot of really legit, you know, other music that if you really dig into it, and even in Pakistan, I've gotten music submissions from a few bands from Pakistan that um, one of them sent me the music and they said we're a thrash metal band
Mhm.
from Islamabad, and I was like, okay, there's two things I never thought I would hear together: thrash metal and Islamabad. Because you think
Yeah.
Islam and thrash metal would not, be the thing, but apparently there is quite a large thrash metal and death metal scene in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
So,
okay,
the-
cool. I mean,
so in Asian countries, like what happens is normally we got to get a lot of exposure towards the. We draw influences from Western music, and we mix it with actually the Indian system
mhm,
with the wax. So that's what I have been experimenting. But my roots are basically from classical, so mostly I prefer the Western classicals over the rock or pop songs. But having said that, pop I listen to very selective artists like Michael Jackson and the other artists basically. So yeah, so that's what we have been we means I've been weaving to through all these structures basically, experimenting, creating, trying to create my own brand kind of
yeah,
sound.
Well,
that's I messed around and composed a song last week that I submitted it for Dimash to for him, because um, it just I wanted to write a classical type song and I did, but it was so big and bombastic that it was kind of beyond my scope, and I was like, you know what?
Mhm.
I think Dimash would be perfect for this with that 7 octave vocal range, and um, I submitted it to his company. So, um, you know, I realize there's very tiny chance he'll probably ever hear it, but hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So we'll see what
str-
happens in the future.
stranger things have happened. That's for damn sure, man. But
Dude, I would shit myself if Dimash recorded my song. I
well,
would literally not even, you know,
oh,
know what
I
to
know, I know. Dimash is fucking impressive. He really is. But well, Steer gave us a segue to get to the next part here, so let's jump on this. What album did you want to bring us, Steer? What album did you want to bring us to listen to talk about tonight?
So we'll talk about the Floodland.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk about the Floodland.
No, what record did you bring?
What
Oh,
record did you want to bring? Yes.
so I wanted to bring today the. You were talking about my music or
Yes,
the 80s
your
music?
No,
choice.
no, your album choice, your 80s album
Okay,
choice. Yeah.
so I would like to play so Let's Dance. Let's Dance is the track. Yeah, you can
Wait,
search.
wait,
Let's
well,
Dance.
oh, you're gonna you're gonna play it on here? Okay. I mean, as long as it doesn't get taken down on YouTube, that's all good.
No, I think it's up to you actually. If you want to
Uh,
play, you can play that.
uh,
And
I'm I'm just worried that if we do that, that YouTube will take us down because YouTube will
Yeah,
takes down podcasts that play after
I
music on the
understand. I
show.
understand. So I want to talk today about the new releases like Six Eco. I named it as Six Eco because this has 6 tracks in it, and I wanted to release as a singles every 6 months. So that's the reason I named it as Six Eco. 6 tracks, 6 months. I wanted to release. So the first track which I would like to mention is going to be releasing on May 12th. It's You're Gonna Let It Go, the song name is. And it's a completely, again, the deep house structure weaved into 80s type of music again. And a lot of classical interventions, classical music. Say, my style of making music is I start with the sheet music like this, basically. Just a second. So I start with the sheet music basically. I don't use a MIDI or sorry, I don't use a MIDI. I don't use a MIDI keyboard much. Just use a notation software. Make a completely my own score sheet, and based upon on my with my score sheet, I would like to import into a pop template or pop music kind of stuff, or deep template, basically deep house template. And I don't use a standard chord progressions at all. I use always my I use always my classical music stuff. So that's how I generally weave any sort of genres. That's the song which is coming. You Gonna Let It Go is a completely a deep house, and it's driven with classical chords actually. So, and the second song which I would like to mention is again a reggaeton one. It's called Moonlight. So it's a completely, there is a phrase word called baila, baila conmigo. There's a Spanish phrase which I introduced in that. So it's for easy for dancing and all actually. So it's for dance. It's basically just like a so let's dance kind of song, reggaeton completely built. And these are the two major tracks which I wanted to discuss today. So I wanted to bring it up today.
Okay,
Rest are all in the making process. I can name it. And since I have a lot of time, I want to work that.
well, I look forward to hearing those because I did follow you on Spotify. Um, so what what what? I believe you want to bring us a Michael Jackson album today, did you not?
Bad.
Yes.
I'm
Uh,
bad and really, really bad.
uh, so what made you want to bring that album?
Yeah, my musical journey started with that basically. Got I got inspired. I danced for these songs in my college days, and that's the reason. And I would like to say that that is the starting origin of my music, basically.
Okay.
So
I mean, makes sense.
I wanted to make a similar kind of music. I don't know whether I'm making it or not, but I wanted to
Yeah,
make a similar kind of music, and I want to draw heavy inspiration,
it's
from.
it's Michael Jackson. It's definitely Michael Jackson-esque. You definitely have hints of Michael in there, which I mean, you can't copy a master. So I mean, it's you can't like just take it beat for beat, but you definitely got some elements of it in there. That's for sure. Uh,
The, if you to look at the Smooth Criminal, the claviers and all, actually how they played, like the
yeah.
you saw that from the keyboard, from synclavier keyboard, they cut it the sound, they what do you call it, they drilled the sound, they cut the sound, and they made it as a completely punching and backing, so punching kind of a keystrokes, right? So that is actually yeah, that's a huge inspiration for me to look into the sound designing part of the songs as well. Yeah.
So, CJ, what did you think of Bad?
Um, it's one of them records where it's Michael Jackson. I don't listen to Michael a lot. Obviously, Michael because not only did Michael have his own thing, he worked with Quincy Jones on the three records, and Quincy was sort of the secret ingredient
Mhm.
to Michael. Like he said, the punchy keyboards, the experimentation with different instruments. Um, he brought Quincy brought a lot of elements to the table that wouldn't have been there otherwise. The background in jazz, the background in like funk. So there were a lot of elements that came into Michael's music just because Quincy was kind of in charge of, you know, I mean, Quincy was a master at what he did. Everything from the Sanford and Son theme to, you know, Wynton Marsalis. You know, we recorded Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. So many amazing artists worked under Quincy Jones that, you know, that's what he made Michael better than I think Michael actually was. Um, so,
That's a
Yeah.
good point, actually. So yeah, I kind of agree to that point. But the way he sings, the way he dances, Quincy, I don't know how Quincy has influenced that one, but so you have to look at all dimensionals as well. Like so, dimensionally, yeah, he's I don't say jack of all trades, but he's a master of all the three elements,
Oh,
like
he
the
is. Yeah.
dance, the pop, and the
Uh,
singing and everything. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's with that. Michael Jackson definitely has his own style. I mean, you can even hear it on the albums past the three that Quincy was on. Like in his later albums, like he still had his style. It wasn't as bombastic and as it wasn't as pop driven, but it was his own style. I
Yeah.
this actually, I mean, people always debate what's the better album, Thriller or Bad, and I mean, a lot of people lean towards Thriller, but I actually think this album is a little bit better than Thriller. It has more songs that are good actually. Thriller has like one or two great songs and then a bunch of mediocre songs. This Bad has a lot of like really good songs on it, and
Yeah,
I did.
smooth criminal. Yeah, Dirty Diana. Yeah.
I don't think Quincy doesn't write the lyrics, right, CJ? I'm pretty
no,
sure.
so this was the first record that Michael actually wrote. He wrote 9 of the 11 tracks. Um, Before this, Michael wrote with people, or had a lot of songwriters. Um, Tim Pierce and uh, Sad Garrett and other people, wrote for him or with him. But this was one that Quincy basically, Michael had started going through all of the stuff that he was going through. And Quincy basically forced Michael to write about his life as a forms of as a form of therapy, as a form of just using it in a positive manner. So, um, other than Man in the Mirror, and there was one other one.
I'm guessing the song with Sade on it.
With what?
The song that actually has Sade on it singing.
No, so actually, she didn't write that one. She wrote Man in the Mirror, uh,
Mm.
and then the other one was I think it's Just Good Friends, or yeah, Just Good
It's
Friends.
just
The one that
another
came
part
out
of
later
me.
was the other one he didn't write. Um,
I think
Okay.
so
it's just another part of me, I guess. Oh.
no, it's Just Good Friends and Man in the Mirror are the two that Michael didn't write solely.
Hmm.
Um,
Ah, surprising. I would think Man in the Mirror would
yeah.
be like his therapy that he'd write that, but um,
But no, Sienna Garrett actually wrote that one, but then she sang it, and I Just Can't Stop Loving You. And they worked
uh,
together
Oh,
for
okay.
years. Like,
yeah,
him and they go back decades. Um, a lot of people. She was one of them people that was like Diana Ross. She was kind of always there in his life.
yeah.
Um, she was Seattle was actually one of the Motown backup singers. Um, So, she was kind of, even during the Jackson 5 time, she was kind of
Mhm.
always just there. So, I think that was one of his longest friends that he had.
Yeah, I mean, this album, I don't think I've ever heard this album in full until today, and it kind of blew me away with how good it was. Like I didn't realize all the tracks that were on it even.
Yeah.
It's a really well done album. I definitely got top 5 songs off it, and I mean, I enjoyed it immensely, and I gotta say, I gotta owe Michael Jackson a posthumous apology. I've made a lot of jokes about him in the past on this show, and it came to light recently in the last few months that the, everything people thought about him was completely off. He was actually a hero compared to the creepy guy people tried to make him out to be. He was a hero. He saved a lot of people from going to a horrible island. So, and he went to that island basically to try and stop it. So I got to posthumously apologize to the man because I mean I I feel so bad for making all those jokes now. I really do. Like he was really just a good guy, and I wasn't the only one who did it though, so I don't feel too guilty because everybody else did too for years. But uh, a lot of stuff came out recently, so he was a good guy. And the fact you wanted to bring this album on, I was like, oh sweet. I actually was hoping someone would bring Michael Jackson on soon, so I could actually do that. But what are your top 5 tracks off this album, Sierra? If you had to pick them,
Top five from
like
the Michael
from like
Jackson's one.
yes,
Yeah, from Bad.
from Bad, yeah.
Yeah. So I just got listed down because I don't means have a very bad memory. So my first top song is "Smooth Criminal." So that's the heavy inspiration which I draw in my college days. And "Man in the Mirror" is my second priority, second preference, and "Dirty Diana," "Bad," and "The Way You Make Me Feel." So these are the top five
Okay,
songs.
yeah. Some similar ones. CJ, what about you? What are your top songs off of MJ?
I have three of them. The Way You Make Me Feel, Just Good Friends. But my favorite one has always been Dirty Diana. I love the groove of that song. Um,
The groove is awesome there. Actually.
I
So
love the fact that he wrote Dirty Diana,
Dirty
and then
Diana.
about 6 months later, Janet turned around and did Black Cat, and they were almost like mirrors of each other. They both had that really wild guitar riff that
Mhm.
was,
Yeah.
not that it was out of character for them, but because Michael had done Beat It, and then on Dirty Diana he brought Steve Stevens in, which was Billy Idol's guitar player. Um, but then you know Janet kind of had to one up him and bring in Vernon Reed from Living Color to record Black Cat. And both of them to this day, I love both of those songs because they just they rock. I mean, they kind of for all the dance moves and all the other elements
It's a kind of
that
addiction, right? So like the grooves and
yeah,
all,
like
it makes it's kind of addictive. Like you get
yeah, like
addicted to
for all the
the
other
beats and
elements they had, those are the two songs where they kind of just let loose and
Mhm.
really prove that
Yeah.
they were more than just pop stars. They were kind
Oh,
of rock stars at the same time.
oh God, yeah. I mean, uh, my number 5 was Bad. It, it's one of his most popular songs, but I just don't feel like it's one of his best songs. Uh, my number 4 was Just Good Friends because I don't think I actually heard that one till today, and that blew me away a little bit. My number 3 is Dirty Diana because I always have loved that song, and that song is such a fucking fun song. That really is. The freaking melody in that is so amazing. Uh, number 2 is Smooth Criminal because I that was the first Michael Jackson song I really fell in love with because I heard Alien Ant Farm's version of it first, and then I went back and listened to the original. I was like, I still think Alien Ant Farm's version's a little better, but I freaking love that song. And my number 1 has to be one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs for years now, "Man in the Mirror," because that song speaks so much truth in it. You want the world to be a better place? Just take a look at the man in the mirror and make that change. Like it's just like the truest lyrics ever written. Like, and the way he sings it is freaking incredible too. I love his freaking octopus voice. His voice in that song. It's an incredible song, man. It's kind of. I'm kind of disappointed he didn't write it. I will say I'm kind of disappointed he didn't write it, but because I feel like that was like I thought that was like a therapy song to him for years. But oh well, you live and you learn. But CJ, what album did you want to bring us this week?
Um, I was gonna do.
I
I
should have
knew
saw
it was
this.
St. Patrick's Day today. I was actually gonna do like another like Irish punk one, but it was kind of out of character with what you guys brought. Um, so I chose. I chose. I chose somebody who I adore as a writer and a composer. Um, Started out with this band called Oingo Boingo. Before he is now probably the number one soundtrack composer in the world. Um, Tim or Danny Elfman um, was the lead singer, guitar player for Oingo Boingo. Their sixth record is called Boi-ngo
Bingo.
and had a bunch of really amazing songs on it. Uh, but if you don't know, over the years, Danny Elfman has done Pee Wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Scrooge, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns,
Elf.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Um, I mean, he's done Hellboy. He's done dozens and dozens of, you know, Spider-Man: No Way Home, Mission Impossible, Men in Black.
Mhm.
I mean,
You're,
the guy, he composes in a way that is just unreal. you know,
he does. He's an amazing composer. And
yeah. So,
you forgot Elf, motherfucker. You forgot Elf.
well, I'm saying his credit list. You could spend a whole day just reading off what
Oh yeah,
he's
and
done for.
and The
Um,
Simpsons. The Simpsons. He does a lot of the composing for The Simpsons. So
yeah, you know, uh, Goodwill Hunting, Milk, 50 Shades of Grey. You know, pretty much every Tim Burton film he's done. Pretty much every Tim Burton film.
oh god,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I chose their sixth record. It's called Boi-ngo. It's one of them '80s. It came right after the fifth record, which had Dead Man's Party, which is really what they're known for.
Yep.
Also, the band has been in a bunch of movies. They were in the Weird Science movie. They were in a scene in Back to School. I think there was a third movie where they sort of did these weird appearances in these '80s movies. So, you know, they're kind of the quintessential '80s new wave pop type of
Oh,
band. And I know your list is probably going to have a ton. I know it's going to have Weird Science on it. It's probably going to have Dead Man's Party.
there's one in the first part already, and I don't even know what's in the
Yeah,
other four parts off the top of my head. So I mean,
but
it's
anyways, I've always loved Oingo Boingo. They're just one of them fun, silly bands that don't take themselves seriously. And I think the best thing in Revenge of the Nerds. I think it's Revenge of the Nerds. Is it 2 Nerds in Paradise or is that 3?
Nerds in Paradise is 2.
All right. So the Nerds in Paradise scene where they are on the beach where they do the musical thing. That was actually Oingo Boingo performing the music
Okay.
that the nerds were doing. That was actually an Oingo Boingo song. So again, just one of those bands that all through the '80s they were everywhere. And yeah, that's why I brought him, just because once you brought 87 and he brought 87, I looked on the list, and once I saw this one, I was like, yep, that's my choice.
I saw it on the list of albums that came out that year, and I was like, I know what CJ's gonna bring. I already know. I'm like, he talks about him a fucking enough, so I know he's gonna bring him. But what did you think of Boingo there, Seer?
Yeah, the sound experiment is good. So they work a lot on sound experimenting the sounds, different kind of sounds. Especially if we go to the songs, we close our eyes, not my slave, home again, elevator man, a new generation. So these are my top five picks, especially. So when comparing to bad album songs, so these are pretty different kind of atmosphere it creates basically. So it's a kind of energetic, experimental. So where Michael Jackson comes into the completely the hooks and all actually are very catchy, and but these sounds are basically boingo or really experimental compared to Michael Jackson's.
Oh, goddamn, completely different. They didn't have no Quincy Jones putting their shit together. They did that
Yeah,
themselves. But
they might have heard. They might have hired Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones too.
You know, the funny thing is, they did have a Quincy Jones. They just didn't at the time. Danny hadn't come into that aspect of it yet. Like when you look
Mm.
at him now composing all of these soundtracks, he's very much a Quincy Jones type.
Yeah,
He
he
just
is
hadn't
now.
come
Yeah,
into it at the time. Like
but he was
they
just
forced him into it.
he was just a kid back then. But
Yeah,
I mean,
they forced him into it. They wanted him to do the Pee Wee Big Top theme, and he didn't know how to. He had never composed anything, so he said, "I don't know the first thing about it." So he literally went to a friend who taught him how to score sheet music, and it just took off from there. You know, so um, what started as sort of a joke between him and Tim Burton literally led to him being, you know.
exactly. I mean, and see, I I know Uncle Boingo mainly because of Dead Man's Party. That's the main song I knew
Right.
by them, and that's only because it was in the Halloween songs bracket we did years ago. That's one reason I know that song even. But um, I and it's funny because when I think of Danny Elfman, I think of the scene in the Family Guy Star Wars where John Williams gets killed, and they're like, "Oh, great! Now we got to hire Danny Elfman." But
See, I knew him from Weird Science. When I saw the movie Weird Science, that was the theme. You know, they wrote the theme song. You know,
yeah,
Weird Science, blah 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 blah, and I just always listened to him after that. Them and Howard Johnson both were just always there in the '80s. So you know, doing that. So
but I mean, this album, at first I was not liking this album, the first couple songs, and then it started to grow on me. It started to grow on me once I heard some tracks that really I dug with, and as I got through it, I was like, the last half of the album really blew me away. I freaking love the last half of the album. Overall, it was an interesting experience. I definitely would check out other things they've done. Uncle Boingo is definitely an interesting band, and it's funny because when you first sent to me, I just saw the name of the album, and for some reason I thought you were sending me a Mr. Bungle album, but I don't know why, but I realized then once I looked at it, I was like, oh, Oingo Boingo. I'm like, that makes more sense. But it's I can't complain, man. It was a pretty good album. I was pretty happy with it once I heard the whole thing, and I definitely got some songs off that I really freaking loved. So, what were your top five for CJ?
number 5 is Pain. Number 4 is We Close Our Eyes. Uh, number 3, ironically, Home Alone. Um, it's funny that he wrote a song called Home Alone in 1987, years before he actually composed the music for a movie called Home Alone. So, number 2 is Tell Me Where My Friends Go. I love the sort of doo-wop feel of that song. And in the beginning, where they're just doing that doo-wop thing, I thought that was like such a cool twist. Um, but number 1 is Not My Slave. It's such a good song, and it's composed so well. Um, it has that bounce to it that you know was so classic in that genre of not just Danny, but you know bands like Blondie, Howard Johnson, Gary Newman, um, Susie. Sushi and the Banshees, they use that sort of
Yep.
syncopated bounce in the songs, you know. So that's my list for Oingo Boingo.
Well, I actually had one honorable mention. Not My Slave was my honorable mention. It was a fun song. Elevator Man was number 5. Elevator Man's a really, really fun song. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Number 4 is Where Do All My Friends Go? That was it kind of reminded me of like a inspiration. It's kind of like seems like it's an inspiration for like dog fashion disco down the road a little bit. Number 3 was Outrageous because I love the sax. I love the saxophone in it. Like it's a really fun song for sax. Number 2 was New Generation because that rapping spoken part they do like halfway in is freaking incredible. Like I didn't think I would hear rap on this album, and I did, and I was like, oh my god. And my number 1 was Pain because that was like such a heavy song for them. It was freaking amazing. Like I didn't expect that at all when I got to the final song. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, this is Oingo Boingo. I'm like, that song's fucking incredible. So yeah, those are my top 5. I definitely wouldn't mind hearing more Oingo Boingo in the future. But
they're a fun band. They're one of them bands you listen to when you just kind of, want something that isn't going to make you think real hard. Like, they're not trying to give you some big message. They're just that sort of quintessential 80s type vibe.
Well, it feels some sort of fun and unpredictable, right? So Boi-ngo and some sort of quirky, unique things actually, which I observed, especially in Boi-ngo band. Basically. So maybe I may be wrong, but it's more or less serious, but more entertaining. The focus is more on entertainment. Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
exactly what it is.
That's what they're going for, 100%. But well, speaking of bands that want to bring a message across, I guess we'll go to my album. When Sear wanted to bring MJ on, I saw it was 87. I'm like, oh, that's a good year because we haven't done that year too much on the show. So I'm like, and then I was looking through the list of albums that came out this year, and I had a bunch. I almost brought a Prince album just to go against MJ with Prince again, but I was like, you know what? I'm like, I don't want to bring this Prince album. It's not even one of his really good albums. So I'm like, but then I saw this album, and I'm like, oh. I've been wanting to bring this band on the show since we did our goth songs bracket about a year and a half ago, and one of these songs was on that bracket. I'm like, I wanted to bring this album on for a long time. I haven't had a chance to fully go through the discography for this band yet. I plan on it, but I haven't had a chance yet. But listening to this album, I want to go through it more than ever because this album was fucking incredible to me. I brought Sisters of Mercy's Floodland album, which is a very synth heavy 80s band. Sisters of Mercy is a very synth heavy 80s English band, reminiscent of Depeche Mode to some degree, and a lot of other bands in that genre. I mean, there's a few other bands from that bracket I can compare them to even too, but they have their very own unique sound as well. I mean, the singer has such a deep, dark voice that's kind of like, I love his voice, and the female on it, what the hell's her? Patricia Morrison, like I freaking love her voice as well, and she's gorgeous as could be. Which seeing her riding a horse in one of the videos for this album is freaking amazing. But I had to bring Sisters of Mercy on, and I was fucking happy I did. I was scared I'd be disappointed because I only knew the one song, but I was not disappointed in one bit. But what did you think of Sisters of Mercy there, Sear?
As you pointed out very rightly, actually, they're pretty atmospheric and dark, and it feels like a cinematic feel, right? So you will get not a typical kind of a rock song, but a cinematic kind of rock song, cinematic feel. You get it. Mostly it's all mood driven. It's unlike MJ or Boi-ngo. It's completely mood and based upon the hooks actually it is driven basically,
and completely dramatically layered in the sense. And so the focus is mainly on catchy melodies, basically. So it creates a kind of atmospheric structures layered with the classical catchy melodies and all, actually. So these are my observations. And my top five is like this corrosion and my reflection and Mother Russia, Flood Eye, and Driven Like the Snow. I love that song actually. I really got fascinated with that. Driven Like
And
the Snow.
and honestly, after hearing your music, I'm like, oh, he should use some of these. Like he should mix his music with some of this and like make some like golf club hits. Like it'd be freaking awesome. That'd be dope as shit. But CJ, I don't think you weren't around for the goth songs bracket back in the day, so I never got to hear what you think about this type of music. I look in your face, I got a feeling I'm not going to be too happy with it. But what do you think?
There are certain bands within this genre that I adore and love. I'm a massive fan of The Cure. I'm a massive fan of Sushi and the Banshees. I'm a massive fan of London After Midnight. There are certain bands in this genre that I do not like. This is one of those bands. There's something about Sisters of Mercy that I just have never. They're kind of like, I compare them a lot to Gojira in the fact that it's not that they're bad, just people talk about them incessantly like they are the best thing in that genre. And when I listen to Sisters of Mercy and the same Gojira within the thrash metal realm, I don't get the hype. I don't like his voice. It just there's nothing on these records, and they only did three. They've only done three records.
Yeah, they didn't last too long.
The first one was tolerable. The first one with the original lineup had something going, but then the best part of Sisters of Mercy left, which was the guitar player and the drummer, and they formed the Mission. Now, the Mission, another band, incredible band. They left Gary to his own devices, and Gary just is not. I don't know, man. There's just something about, or not Gary, Andrew. They left Andrew to his devices, and he couldn't do it. And then he flipped it and turned Sisters of Mercy into the Sisterhood, and then couldn't get that to work. Then he flipped it back to Sisters of Mercy and brought in Patricia from Sisterhood, and she tried her best, but the odd thing about this record, I should love this record because my absolute favorite songwriter, my absolute favorite producer of all time worked on this record. But even Jim Steinman could not save this mess of a record. Okay. 1959, which oddly sounds incredibly like a Jim Steinman song, was not a song Jim worked on. And it's the only song to me that is, the piano in it is really beautiful, and it had something until he sings it in a way that's just, I don't know, like I can't get into his voice. So yeah, I
mean,
don't like Sisters of Mercy. I'm not a fan.
To me, I kind of picture him as almost like a vampire that formed a band. That's the kind of imagery like his voice puts across, because it seems like he's ancient. It seems like he's an ancient like being that's just singing in a band because he can. And I mean, I don't know. I said it in the goth songs bracket too, but when I hear Dominion, like pretty much every song on this album except 59 is what I would picture the goth kids on South Park listening to. So I mean, that's kind of what I see when I hear this music. Because I see like those goth kids on South Park dancing to the music. But I mean, this whole album's not perfect, but it's there's a lot of songs on it I like. My number 5 was driven like the snow. That's a really good song. I freaking enjoyed the hell out of that. Flood 2 was my number 4. That's a really good song. That's really well done, I thought. Flood 1 I didn't like, but Flood 2 was really well done.
Mhm.
My number 3 was Lucretia, My Reflection, which he wrote that about Patricia. Like he wrote that about Patricia, but and I thought it was a beautiful song. Like, but my number two was Dominion, Mother Russia, because I love that song. Just the freaking the beat in that song is so freaking incredible.
That's a Jim Steinman song.
Yeah, and when the freaking saxophone comes in, like a couple minutes in, like it's just such a it ties it together so well. But my number 1, and I didn't hear this song until today for the first time, so my number 1 was This Corrosion, because that freaking her singing in the beginning of that song and like throughout it is freaking incredible, and the music video their music videos are freaking like deep, like dystopian future videos, like they're freaking awesome. I love their music videos. So,
And that's the other Jim Steinman song on there.
Yeah.
So all our 1980s music, and if you observe the groove patterns, basically it's all the three albums have the same groove patterns. If you observe the same type of that kind of the drums actually.
One of the trademarks of Jim Steinman was the saxophone solo.
Yep.
So if you listen to Total Eclipse of the Heart, that's Jim Steinman. Air Supply, 3 of Air Supply's biggest songs, Jim Steinman. Meatloaf, all of the Bad Out of Hell records were Jim Steinman. And it had that massive piano, and it had the saxophones that would be layered over the piano. Jim was a composer of the utmost. Between Bonnie Tyler, Air Supply, and Meatloaf, he made a fortune.
I'm sure.
Celine Dion, he wrote oh god damn it.
My Heart Will Go On.
No,
That's the only Celine Dion song I really know.
Dion. Hold on. It's all coming back to me now. Which was originally a Meatloaf song. Celine Dion made it famous. So, he also River Deep, Mountain High. He did the cover for her. Jim Steinman wrote stuff that people don't even realize Jim Steinman wrote. And like I said, he is my biggest influence. He was a guy who wrote. I love music that's big, bombastic. It's almost like this rock meets Broadway type of style. Yeah. Like what Trans-Siberian Orchestra does, what Sabotage does, what Dream Theater does. I love that symphonic style, Nightwish.
Yep.
I love when you bring the melody and the really heavy guitars, but it also has that, operatic. I don't want to say operatic. It has that classical bombastic.
Yeah, it's a symphonic waltz kind of thing. Symphonic waltz.
Hey, I love the opera. God damn it, I love the operatic.
Yeah, well, I do too, to a certain extent. Sarah Brightman. I adore Sarah Brightman. Not only is she one of the most gorgeous women walking the face of the earth, her vocal style is just unmatched. Dimash, I love Dimash.
But yet you can't get behind Tarja.
I like Tarja. It's just sometimes she's a little too much.
Well, did you have any tops? Did you have any songs of Sisters of Mercy? Or
1959. 1959 was the only one that.
How do you not like this corrosion?
It's just, I don't know, dude. Like I don't get into this band, and there's bands that people love that I just don't get the hype of. I don't get the hype of U2. I don't get the hype of the Rolling Stones.
CJ is not interested with the hooks and mood of the songs.
I don't get the hype of people go on and on about Ghost. I don't get the hype of Ghost.
I don't get the hype. I don't get the hype of any of those three bands. But I mean, Sisters of Mercy, I never heard any hype for. I never heard of them until I freaking had them on a bracket.
Dude, if you talk to anyone who's a quote goth, that is into like goth music or dark wave or anything like that, well, they're the first band that people will mention.
The great
Sisters of Mercy and Christian Death.
The great Chansey, who considered himself a gray called himself a gray goth. He doesn't even consider Sisters of Mercy a goth band,
and they're not technically. I mean, they get lumped in to that, but they're more. They consider themselves just a rock band.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely look like a goth band in all their fucking videos, but I mean, it is what it is. But
I mean, the Ramones weren't really a punk band. The Ramones were basically a doo-wop band with guitars. But people made them punk, and when you say something enough times, it becomes a fact, or it becomes reality.
Legend. So, yeah, I mean, oh yeah. Look at Michael Jackson. I was talking about earlier. Exactly. You say something enough times, and people think it's truth, but which is exactly what the government wanted. But well, folks, we brought you your albums thrice for tonight. We talked about 3 good albums. I don't care what CJ says, but we talked about 3 good albums. What will we be talking about next week? Oh, I never do. What will we talk about? What will we talk about next week? I don't know yet. I just got the message with the album before I started the show, and I didn't look at it yet. So we'll see what the guest wants to bring next week for us to talk about, and whatever me and CJ decide to throw on the guest. But we want to thank Sear for coming on, and you can go check out his music. Sear, where can they find you?
You can find me on Spotify with the same name, CR Srikanth, written like this. And you can find me. You can just Google my name. You can get it. You'll get my name. You'll get. Also, like Apple Music, you'll get. You can SoundCloud, YouTube, and all sort of DSPs, like digital streaming platforms. You can find me.
And CJ, where can they find you, buddy?
They can find me everywhere. Our website is musicgodcjplane.rocks. The website is updated. You can find me on Spotify now. X marks the spot, the Gen X anthem, and releasing, I believe, on Friday. We have my second song. It is actually in Tagalog. It is a reggae song called Dalagang Filipino, which basically means island girl in Tagalog. So, we're hitting all the markets. And, we're going for the whole world for this one. We're gonna do the Philippines and Japan, and I'm even writing a song. Like I said, I composed it with Damash in mind. It's partly in Russian. When it comes to me writing music, nothing is sacred. There are no holy cows. So
Horrorcore.
That's not a good thing to say right now. There are no sacred cows in music for me. I'm, pretty much everything is on the table. I'm all about mixing genres that don't belong together.
I want to hear some goddamn horrorcore out of you, but
that's coming. That's coming.
I want to collaborate with you. I want to collab with you, CJ, because
I'm always open to it, man. I love.
Let's make a reggae song then.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man. I love reggae music. It's one of my favorite genres, and I'm all about mixing things that people say can't go together. You know, bluegrass and hip hop, and reggae and rock, and just things. If somebody tries to tell me that doesn't go together, I'll make it go together. But horrorcore is coming. Me and Dante are actually working on 4 songs right now that are
good.
That are hip hop. So
well, you heard it here, folks. When people say an elephant can't make love to a pig, CJ makes it happen. But
pretty much.
But you can find both your musers on Facebook as Squatchy Largefoot, on X and the Gram as that Juggalo Bastard, and on YouTube as Maniacal Music Musings. The best place to see everything we do is YouTube. And we want to thank Sia for coming on. It's been an amazing, fun episode. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good day. Have a good night, everyone.